While we're waiting, I put in the chat links to Racial Justice's World Map of Recipes. So there's a link down at the bottom that has a list of just the Passover recipes, and then it shows you how to get to the actual map and scroll to get the recipes themselves.
Okay, so let's start the program.
Okay.
We are live on YouTube. Welcome, everybody. My name is Holly Singer. I'm a board member of Congregation Bethlehem Sisterhood, and we are delighted to present part two, day two of our pre-Passover weekend. March 27th is the first night of Passover, so here we are a month in advance. And after a beautiful service yesterday led by Rabbi Blum, for those who joined us, thank you. For those who didn't, it's on YouTube. You can replay anytime. It was just a wonderful, wonderful experience. So today's program will feature Passover recipes. We have 3 recipes to cover: an appetizer, an entree, and a dessert. And again, our program is live on YouTube. At the end of the 3 recipes presented, we will have a Q&A. So please save your questions, whether you put them in the chat box or want to verbalize them later. So you will be muted during the initial part of our program. And we hope you enjoy our 3 recipes. So what we are presenting today is an appetizer, which will be tropical haroset, presented by Adria Sherman, followed by our entree, which is Moroccan tagine of chicken, presented by me, Holly Singer, followed by our dessert, which is presented by Joyce Kalstein. And Joyce is going to show you almond butter chocolate chip cookies. So don't miss any of it. Enjoy the rest of the program. And
I'm going to now mute all. And
Thank you, Joyce. So my name is Adria Sherman, and I am also a board member on the Bethlehem Sisterhood. At a Seder, what we can consider the universal appetizer is haroset. And I couldn't resist beginning my presentation with some art. So on the left side of this slide, we see a photograph taken by Arnold Engel in 1934, and the title is Passover Seder. And although I wasn't at that 1934 Seder, most of the Seders that I attended as a child resembled this scene. If you look around the table, everyone looks alike. And it's a very traditional kind of setting. Now, to the right is Nicole Eisenman's Seder, which is a contemporary work. She completed this in 2010, and she was actually commissioned to do it by the Jewish Museum in New York as part of a exhibit that they were mounting dealing with Passover themes. And this is what Seders, for me, look like nowadays. A much more diverse audience. Some people are all in it. Some are a little bit distracted. Perhaps at the head of the Seder, perhaps even leading the Seder, is a woman, rather than the woman in her apron at the 1934 Seder. So could I have the next slide, Joyce? So obviously, getting ready for a Seder, the first thing that has to be done is that the matzah has to be made. And this is a drawing by Linda Feinberg called The Matzah Factory And Linda based this on a photograph that she took in Israel of an actual matzah factory. And what we cannot see is the rabbi who was standing off to the side, and he was timing the preparation of each piece of matzah very carefully to just the 18 allotted minutes that are given for kosher Passover matzah. Now, on the next slide, I'm going to suggest what I always do for all of my Seders is I do the majority of the cooking ahead of time. I'm sure that many of us do that. So that the day of the Seder, I can take my time creating the Seder plate and putting it on the table and doing last minute things as well as setting the table. Now, this is a part of a painting by Shoshana Brombacher called The Seder Plate. And Brombacher recognizes that she is greatly influenced by the painter Marc Chagall. Brombacher has an interesting background. She was born in Holland, and she had a full academic professorial career in ancient Middle Eastern languages and ancient Hebrew texts, and put all that aside. And at the present time, she's focused on translating Hasidic life into artwork. So this, you know, we can see the kind of Hasidic looking characters on the Seder plate. Now we're ready to get started. So as a background,
okay, so we're all ready to make tropical haroset, and I have the ingredients all assembled here. So I have a handful of chopped pecan pieces, a handful of to be chopped walnuts, a piece of ginger, some grapes, the key ingredient, a mango. And I'm hoping that this mango is at the right stage of ripeness. It should smell like a mango, and it should be just a tiny bit soft to the touch. Sometimes they develop a red blush on it. This one did not. Some pineapple juice and some cinnamon. Okay, so I've peeled my mango. This is half of the mango. And now I'm going to chop it into like 1/2 inch pieces. And I'm going to add that to my bowl. So in this bowl, I have the mango, and the next thing that we need to cut up are the grapes, and I've already cut up half of them. So I'm going to cut these into quarters without cutting my fingers, hopefully. And you could use any kind of seedless grapes. And you could adjust the relative amount of grapes to mango to your preference. The big unknown is what the mango is going to be like on the inside. So this mango turned out to be okay. Not the best I've ever eaten, but it's okay. Okay, that's about as many grapes as we really need. Now, this is ginger root. I don't know if, again, you may or may not be familiar with it, but it is a great key ingredient in a lot of different cuisines. And It lasts for a long time in the refrigerator. You buy it by the piece typically. And before you grate it in order to use it, you have to peel it. And because of the unusual shapes, it's got like fingers. Maybe another one might have some toes on it. It's very animated. I guess, what would we consider this? Well, it's a root to the ginger plant. It grows in the tropics. And now, so I've peeled a section of it. Now, I have this little ginger grater that I indulged in. I don't know if I got it at Williams Sonoma or someplace like that. But you could also use a microplane. If I'm doing a whole lot of grating of ginger, like if I'm making a Japanese meal, then I'll use a food processor. But for this tiny amount, we only need a teaspoonful. So I'm just going to do it by hand. And it's messy. It's messy, but it has very unique flavor. And then I'm going to add this to my bowl. And then my bowl is off the camera. And with the ginger grater, you just have to kind of scrape it out. Sometimes I use a spoon. So now you can see that I have, there's my grated ginger in the middle. Actually, that's big hunk. We need that. The grapes that are quartered and the mango chunks. And to that, I'm going to add my handful of chopped walnuts and my handful of chopped pecan pieces. And, you know, if you want to save time, try to buy the most chopped up nuts that you can. And now we're going to, and notice I did not measure the ginger. The recipe calls for a teaspoon. Used about a teaspoon. Haven't really measured anything here. And that's one of the things about Haroset is that you can adjust it to your taste. So that's the cinnamon. And now I'm going to add my pineapple juice to it. The recipe calls for ½ cup. These tiny little pans have 6 ounces, so I'm going to go with 6 ounces. And move my bowl up here so you can see what I'm doing. And then I'm going to mix it together. And let it marinate a bit. Now it came out a little too liquid for my taste. So to soak up some of that extra liquidity, I'm just going to throw in a couple more pecan pieces. Because I'll probably put in some walnuts too. The other thing you could do is after it marinates in the refrigerator for a while, to get the flavors mixed. If you wanted to, turn off any excess juice. Here are my walnuts that are chopped. Walnut halves instead of walnut pieces. And if you wanted to use your food processor to do the chopping for the nuts, you could. I prefer to chop them by hand because the food processor, chops them up a bit too much. So let's mix this again. And after it's had a chance to marinate, it's ready to go. You can make this several days ahead of time. It's certainly, I make everything ahead of time for Passover so that the day of Erev Passover, the day of the first Seder, I can concentrate on foods that have to be prepared, you know, right before serving and setting up the table and getting the Seder plate all ready and getting the matzah all ready and the Haggadahs and all of the rest. So happy Passover.
So the recipe that I just demonstrated was tropical haroset. So we're going to travel from, you know, in our imaginations, from imagine the synagogue in St. Thomas. If any of you have been in the Sephardic synagogue in St. Thomas, you know, tropical haroset might be something that would be served in that neighborhood. The other two haroset recipes that you will get is a Persian haroset and an Italian haroset. So that my haroset journey has really traveled around the world. This is a photograph of my granddaughter Maya, who is now 7, 2 different years, preparing the Persian haroset, which is a recipe that I learned from a member of my doctoral committee at Penn State. And he lived in Israel for a while and taught me this recipe, which I have embellished over the years considerably. But the basis of it is pomegranates. So especially, you know, years and years and years ago, I would have to buy the pomegranates Rosh Hashanah time and put them in the freezer so I would have them for Passover. But now we can get pomegranates almost all year round. So thank you very much for listening. And next up is Holly Singer, who will take us to Morocco and show us how to prepare a tagine chicken. You know, Joyce, I don't see Holly.
Holly, what happened to Holly? Hold on, let's see. Oh, she was having some difficulty. Let me see if I can. That is just her image. You know what? I'll go on to my dish, and hopefully Holly can get back to us. So if you give me one moment. Good afternoon. My name is Joyce Kalstein. Welcome to my kitchen at 213 Betty Lane. This afternoon, I will be preparing almond butter chocolate chip cookies. They are a Passover recipe that I found online many years ago. As many of you who know me know that cooking and baking is not always my go-to activity. But these cookies are so easy to prepare and always come out perfectly that I am pleased to share the recipe with you. So first, let's go through the ingredients, which I have pre-measured. We have 1 large egg, which I will crack into a separate bowl. Make sure it's a good egg and there are no shells. Second is a cup of almond butter, and any store brand works as well. Half a cup of well-packed light brown sugar, a cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips, and I have mixed in cran raisins, You could also mix in nuts or anything else you might mix in with a regular chocolate chip cookie. And half a teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. So let's begin. First, I'm going to crack my egg and break it down. That goes right into the mixing bowl. This recipe can be done right in a standard bowl like this one. You don't need an electric mixer. Next, I'm going to add the almond butter. And next, the brown sugar. And the teaspoon of baking soda. And half a teaspoon of the vanilla extract. Now I'm going to combine all of those ingredients before I pour in the chocolate chips. And I am using my rubber spatula to do so. And I'll just take a moment to get all the ingredients well combined. And I'm actually going to switch to my large spoon. Nice thing about these cookies is that they're also gluten-free. So if that's a dietary concern from anyone. Okay, this is looking good. And now I'm going to blend in the chocolate chips. Now, it may look like there are a lot of chips in proportion to the batter, but they all get combined. And the batter is very easy to work with. I really enjoyed watching Adria and the Haroset and Holly and the Moroccan chicken dish. I did have an opportunity to taste both a few weeks ago, and they are as delicious to taste as they look. Okay, so I think this batter is ready. And I will be using an ice cream scoop to drop the cookies onto my baking sheet. I have covered it with a silk pack. You could also use parchment paper. And I have preheated my oven to 350 degrees. And these cookies will bake for approximately 15 minutes. I find 13 to 15 minutes is the right amount of time to get them to a good crunchy consistency. So I'm just scooping onto the cookie tray. Using the ice cream scoop ensures that the cookies are of equal size and shape. And this yields about 25 cookies. Complete all the batter. And as you can see, the batter has blended very well with all the chips and cran raisins. Okay. I've got them all on the cookie sheet. And as you can see, they're ready to go in the oven. And I will do so. And I'm going to set the timer for 15 minutes. And thank you so much for watching. Happy Passover. I'm going to next bring up a photograph of what the finished cookies look like. So thanks again for watching. There we go. So I usually let them sit for 30 minutes to cool. And here is the finished product. And I hope you'll have a very happy Passover and enjoy making them and eating them. So thanks so much. Now let's see if Holly, are you there?
Thanks, Joyce.
Oh, okay. Take it from here.
Hey everyone, it's Sherry. I just heard from Holly that she has no power.
Oh my
Without
goodness.
power. So that's
Oh
why
dear,
she
well.
kind of disappeared from our Zoom call.
Wow.
So
well, if
I don't know if we
give
can
me
run
a
her.
minute. I have her presentation.
That's what I thought. So if you can
See
maybe
if I
finish
can
it.
talk, I'm going to say talk amongst yourselves first.
Okay.
I'm going to unmute you. Let's see. Actually, you can unmute yourselves and I'll be right back.
Yeah, if anybody has any questions, I can answer. Sure.
So
Hi, Karen.
aren't the recipes online, I think?
Um,
I think you guys posted them, right?
They were
They will be
emailed.
posted. After this session, they will be posted. And there may be a delay because Holly has all the files.
Oh, yeah.
Joyce, I had put question in the chat. You had said a half cup brown sugar and, well, not said, on the link that was emailed, you said a half cup brown sugar and a half teaspoon vanilla, but when you were doing it, you said it was 1 cup of brown sugar and one.
Oh, okay. Then follow the recipe.
Okay.
May have misspoke.
Okay.
Okay. So Adria,
Yes.
something else be substituted for the pineapple juice? Because I really can't.
Sure. You can put any liquid in that. Orange juice, apple juice, wine, pomegranate juice would probably be good. In my Persian haroset, I think there was 1 year in the past, 40 years when I couldn't, I didn't have pomegranate seeds, or the pomegranates that I put in the freezer weren't any good, so I used pomegranate juice instead. Yeah, so any liquid.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
The recipes look great, ladies.
Thank you.
I'm excited to use them.
The cookies are fabulous because I've made them already in the past, and my family scoured them, ate them up so quickly. So they're wonderful.
I've used a very similar chicken tagine, but instead of the matzo meal, it had chickpeas.
Oh, yeah?
Sounds good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm always looking for something to.
I especially like to try new recipes and new variations all the time. And, you know, growing up with only being exposed to Ashkenazi type of Jewish cooking, you know, when I broke loose and was on my own, I, you know, ventured very heavily into the Sephardic cooking, which I much prefer those recipes.
Barbara Marcus has found tons of haroset recipes from all over, and a bunch of them are in the Racial Justice Roadmap of Recipes.
Yes. I actually had a haroset tasting party once.
Oh, really? That sounds neat.
The link that Holly sent is not responding.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying to see if I can get at it on YouTube.
Well, I have the ingredients here if you want me to try to make it.
Let's try one more thing. I've got Dina's Kitchen. It's not. I can show you the image of the so one moment.
Oh.
There we go. So that's the finished product.
Mm.
I know Holly purchased a special, the pot on the right. This one
Yes, that's the
is what she cooked it in. And
what is that actually?
Tangine pot.
Oh, what one?
So the red part is the lid. So that lifts off, and then it's just a basic fry pan underneath.
Oh.
The heat cooks it a little differently when it's set up like this.
Huh.
So
What is it called, Joyce?
Tangine chicken.
No, but what is the apparatus? What is the thing on top?
The pot is just a tangine cooking.
Oh, for tangine cooking. Okay.
Yeah. So see, here's her link, but nothing happens when I click on it.
Yeah, I just tried to retrieve an older recording from the email and it wouldn't open either.
Yeah, so unfortunately, what we'll do is
We'll just tell her not to lose power next time.
I know, isn't that awful? Oh. She had mentioned at the beginning that her Zoom wasn't cooperating entirely.
Oh.
But I'm just trying to think if we have it anywhere else. Adria, did she send us an email of it?
That's what I'm looking in
Yeah,
my
so all three of the email, I mean, all of the recipes were on the email.
Yeah,
So,
I'm looking
Holly
for
lives nearby, and if
Yeah.
you guys can stay on the line, she can be here in under 5 minutes.
that
that's
would be
great.
great.
But we have
well,
power here, so we can schmooze, and she's going to be here.
absolutely, we'll make it
All
work.
right. I think we have to give and take a little bit, right?
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah. So
Okay, yeah, we're good with that.
So she's coming shortly, and then she can tell us all about her tagine pot because it does
Good.
something
Okay.
special. I'm not
And we
sure
can't
what.
even blame it on the pandemic.
No,
Not this time.
no.
Not this
So,
one.
I do have to say those cookies just come out incredibly well every time. You could see how easy they were.
I
Yeah.
had I have to try the recipe because my granddaughters ate them all up.
Oh, okay.
I've
Are
never
they-
used almond butter.
Are they crumbly?
Not at all. When they first come out, if you were to try and, after it cools, they're soft.
Yes.
Let them completely cool and then they're crunchy. And, depending what you put in them, as I said, I just use the chips and the cran raisins. And what a great flavor, and the consistency is just great.
Yeah, they look good.
Yeah.
And it's so easy.
It is. And I in preparation for this, I probably did this 6 or 7 times. So people were getting cookies all over the place. So,
Good
while
for
we're
them.
waiting, I'm going to show you a picture of the ingenuity I had to come up with to film this, because it had to be so high enough and far enough away that you could see me and the counter. So this was my configuration. So what you're seeing is a bookcase, followed by a cooking pot, followed by a stack of my husband's opera records. And then on the top is the tripod with my camera. So, but it worked. It worked really well. So it was a lot of fun doing this.
You could become an engineer.
I know. Yeah, but they always say necessity is the mother of invention, or
Right.
something like that. So
Yeah.
we just kept stacking things until we got it to the right height. So, do you have special recipes that you make during the holidays? Something that's been handed down from the generations?
I actually make popovers, which come
I used to make them.
incredibly delicious. And people don't believe that they're kosher for Pesach.
My niece makes those.
I used to make them too.
Yeah.
They're fun to make too.
I think our mom, my sister's online, it's Dale. So our mom used to make rolls.
Yes.
Onion
rolls.
Yeah, onion rolls.
Yes.
You are very good, but you make
they sit like lead in your stomach.
No, the popovers don't.
They taste good going down.
Right. Well, if you have a
make a toffee with chocolate crumble.
If you have a chance to do Adria's recipes, they're amazing. And it's a nice change from traditional apple and nuts. And
Yeah, when I finally discovered that there are other foods than what my mother made, it was like, wow.
My mother was not a cook.
I think the one recipe that, well, it wasn't really a recipe, but a technique, and I mentioned this yesterday during the Shabbat service, that I learned from my mother, was making gefilte fish from scratch. And even her traditional way of doing it, I embellished it with Joe Nathan's addition of ground almonds, which just, if you haven't tried that, it's wonderful. It cuts the fishy smell and just adds a really nice complementary texture. And I use that. I substitute most of the matzah meal with the ground almonds.
Wow.
Yeah.
I stopped making that about 10 years ago.
Me too.
I haven't made it in a number of years.
Yeah.
Since my husband died. I can't get, you can't make a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
We used to have the carp swimming in the bathtub when I was growing up.
Because the freezers and refrigerators were so small, my mother would buy it and it'd be swimming. Then she'd hit it over the head, cut the head off, and the tail would still be wagging.
And my grandparents used to do that too.
Yep.
Yeah.
My kids did not believe me, but then I found a book that says the carp is swimming in my bathtub in a Jewish bookstore.
No, we would always, well, my mom called Doctor Up the jarred fish.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's what I do. I doctor up the jar fish.
Right.
I still have the bowl that my mother used to make chopped liver in.
Right.
Oh, I have chopping bowls.
Oh, the big chopping bowl.
That's how my mother used to make it too. And she gave me one when I got married. And it didn't survive the fire.
Yeah.
It was okay.
I must say I made the best chopped liver. I loved it. But
I have the bowl.
Stop making these things.
I have the bowl and I have my mother's grinder that she used to use, and I have my grandmother's chopper.
Well, that's how I always made it, with the chopper.
Right, right.
My chopper's
I
in
use
my
that when I
kitchen.
make haroset. I can't make haroset except in the wooden bowl with the chopper. That's the only way I know how to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, our father would be the chopped liver maker.
Was he?
Sure.
Yes.
Years ago, my aunt switched to a mock chopped liver, and that was actually very good too.
It is good.
A very good friend of mine makes it all year round. She makes a mock chopped liver. It's delicious.
It is.
Is that the one with mushrooms?
I think my friend uses lesueur peas.
I have one.
I think my sister-in-law uses peas.
Yeah, I have
My
peas.
sister-in-law just made it. Go, she told me. I said, "Oh my God, I'm not there."
Our mother also used to render chicken fat.
Yes.
And put it in the chopped liver. I can smell that smell. Yeah.
My mother never did that, but she wasn't a cook. You know, so.
Well, we'll give it a few more minutes.
We used to put the schmaltz and the gribbinets on matzah.
Right. That's like the healthiest thing you could.
Oh, very healthy.
Of course.
Oh, goodness.
I put farmer cheese on matzah for breakfast.
Well,
Sherry?
the best breakfast is.
I'm asked, so I think that's telling
Okay.
me that I have a guest.
All right, is Holly?
There she is.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God. We had a power outage and it's beautiful and sunny out. My neighborhood just went down.
Oh, geez. Well, we just went ahead. We did mine. We did Adria. So when
Okay, great. Joyce, are you able to put my recording?
I couldn't, I tried. I couldn't get the link to work.
Yeah. Okay, well then this is gonna take me a little while.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
Oh my God. So you're done with everything else except for mine?
Yeah, well, it's all right. We're just chatting about traditions.
Right.
Who wants to sing?
So for breakfast, the tropical haroset goes great in yogurt. Are you ready, Holly?
No, here's what I suggest doing. Let me make the sisterhood announcements.
Okay.
And then we'll do mine. How's that?
Okay.
Here you go. You're on mine. Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
Oh, hold on. Wait, I think Sherry
you'd like
has
to
us
do.
figured out. Okay. Wow. Oh, power went out. Okay, hold on. Let me just see if I can get into my.
Want me to read the announcement?
No. Okay. Let me just read the announcements. I'm so sorry. This is crazy. Okay. So I'm excited to share with you that Purim Reimagined, which is this year's edition of Purim Baskets, led by the dream team of Eileen Janowski and some others. I know Cheryl and Alyssa worked hard on that as well. It was a huge success. So you may have already heard, but if you didn't, everybody's very excited and proud of that terrific accomplishment. So just a shout out to those
Yeah,
that worked very hard and achieved great results. So we have a few things coming up on the Sisterhood calendar. In April, we'll be doing a personal care collection, kind of a joint Tikkun alum project for Homefront, which is a reimagined version of the annual Mother's Day collection, which of course, in a pandemic is a little bit different this year. The big item on the calendar is actually the Rabbi Installation Weekend, April 23rd to 25th. And for tickets and sponsorship and all the details, I don't know, maybe Joyce or someone could just put this in the chat room. The URL is bethlehem.betterworld.org for all the information there. So there's a few things coming down the pike. There may be a book club, some author visits, other things. And we will be recording this. Now, let me just see if I can get my, okay, hold on. Let me just see if I can get my recording going here. I think I'm about seconds away. And if I can, here we go. Give me just a minute. Okay, so wait, I have it here, but I'm not connected on here. Where's it going to Zoom? Yikes. I don't have. Joyce, are you able to just press that Zoom link that I shared with you or no?
That's what I couldn't do. It wasn't the hyperlink was not working.
Maybe put a space after what she sent you. Sometimes that just makes the link live.
Yeah, I'll try it again.
Let me just see if I can
try to
send
pull
it
it up
to
from
you.
here. Send it to me too.
Send it to both of you. Yeah, I think it would have to be on your.
Holly, what's your passcode? I might have gotten it.
Oh.
You shouldn't use.
Holly,
No, so you don't need her terrible link.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't need her passcode.
All right, well, that's the screen.
See, I can share this screen, but you're not in the meeting
No,
yet.
I'm not in that, so I don't know
So what
how
happens
to
if you go into the
switch.
meeting first?
I guess I have to go
Pull up
into
your-
the meeting.
No, pull up your thing. Pull up your Zoom.
All right.
Nobody has to let me say that.
No,
Okay.
this is just
So first pull up your spiel. Pull it up.
This is really worth waiting for.
What you're going to do is you're going to, you just pull it up as you see. And then go into the Zoom meeting.
Okay, I'm in the Zoom meeting here.
And then you're going to share your screen. Does that make sense?
1-83672.
Okay.
Eileen, can you unmute for a minute?
We're getting closer.
Okay. Can you tell everybody what our gift to JFCS is going to?
Yes. Our gift to JFCS is going to sponsor the mobile food pantry for 1 year. We will be presenting them with a check for $5,000, and Congregation Bethlehem Sisterhood's name will be on the truck for the next year. So we are just so proud and so grateful to everybody who has made this a reality. So thank you so much.
Okay, looks like you're in.
Okay, so now.
Ouch.
Unmute yourself.
Holly's video is about 7 minutes. So we're still within the hour.
Do we have to get one of those tangine things to make it?
No, she's made this, she treated herself to this just for this process, but she's made it just in a fry pan with a regular lid.
Okay.
Yeah, but she thought she'd.
Greetings. I am Chef Holly, and I'm delighted to invite you.
Holly, you have to share your screen.
Let's try that again. I can't share the screen, Joyce.
All right, one moment.
Joyce, you need to make her co-host.
Okay.
Okay, let's try this.
All right, I just made you co-host.
Try it one more time.
No, sure, on the right floor.
There we go.
Oh, okay, so now.
Find your, where's your talk?
Here we go.
We got this.
Greetings. I am Chef Holly, and I'm delighted to invite you to my kitchen where we will be cooking chicken tagine. So we are taking a trip to Morocco, where the spices and flavors are amazing. But instead of a 7-hour flight to Casablanca, we are going to be cooking here in my kitchen at Aristotle Way in East Windsor, New Jersey. And our recipe for today is tagine of chicken. To make it reasonably authentic, we're going to use a tagine pot, which has this cone-shaped lid. So it's an iron skillet. The recipe is prepared on the stove top. And so this is a size 8-cup tagine skillet, which accommodates certainly enough for probably 2 to 3 servings. But to make the whole recipe with today's quantity, I use a combination of this skillet as well as a regular standard iron skillet that's already sitting on my stove. So what I'd like to do now is tell you a little bit about the recipe. We're going to adapt today's recipe from one of my favorite Seder cookbooks. It's called The Passover Table by Susan Friedland. I made a few adjustments, but that's where the recipe originates. And I'd like to take you first through our ingredients for this recipe. So we start with a 3.5 to 4 pound chicken. What you see here is actually the chicken breasts, and I highly recommend whether you use the whole cut up chicken or chicken breast. If you're using the breast, I definitely recommend that you buy the ones that have the bone in and the skin on. And we have 1/2 cup of matzah meal. The last recipe ingredient is salt and pepper. But what I like to do is to just season to taste. I use fresh ground pepper and some salt, and I just put that in the matzah meal so that when you dip the chicken, it has a nice flavor to it. Next is vegetable oil, which of course goes into the skillet. We have 8 tablespoons of vegetable oil. No particular kind is necessary, whatever you want. And after that, we have 2 cups of onion, chopped onion. I would say it's approximately 2 medium-sized onions. And then we have our chicken broth. It's a cup of chicken stock or chicken broth. One suggestion here is that you buy, whether you get the box or the can, just make sure that you get a large enough quantity so there's more than just that 1 cup, because when you're cooking it on the stove, if the chicken gets a little bit dry, you want to add a little extra broth, to keep it nice and moist. Then we have cinnamon. Nothing special about that. It's 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. So, you don't need to use cinnamon sticks or anything else for that. After that, we have fresh grated ginger. Definitely use a fresh ginger root. Don't use ground ginger. Take a fresh ginger root and just grate it, into a cup or bowl or whatever. But that's a completely different consistency and flavor than just buying a jar of ginger. Okay. And then we have fresh lemon juice. So this is the equivalent of 1 lemon, but it's in a cup here, and it's 2 tablespoons of fresh lemon juice. And I don't recommend using lemon concentrate. It won't be the same. So try to use the fresh lemon. And then we have 1.5 cups of pitted prunes. They add a delicious flavor to the recipe. And even though it doesn't look like a large quantity, they just expand because they get kind of stewed in with the juices and the flavors, and they're really delicious. Of course, if you like prunes.
Don't make that.
And then we have the lemon peel, which is grated. So what I suggest you do is just first get your grater for the lemon, grate the lemon peel. This is 1 lemon grated, which ends up being about a couple tablespoons. But first grate your lemon peel, and then just use the lemon juice and squeeze that out. So last, but very importantly, are the almonds. So this is a 1/2 cup of slivered almonds. I just buy blanched slivered almonds, but I highly recommend that you toast them. Totally different flavor and consistency. They get nice and crisp. And what I do is I have just a fajita pan, but I just suggest that you take a dry skillet and just shake your almonds around a little bit, and that just takes a couple minutes. And it's definitely worthwhile because it gives them a really nice crisp consistency, and the almonds get coated over the chicken. So the recipe has kind of like 5 sections in the preparation. So you need about 30 to 40 minutes to get to where we are now to prepare all your ingredients. And then about another 40-ish minutes for the cooking time. And it starts by dipping the chicken. So you're going to be, dipping the chicken in the matzo meal after you've heated up the oil on the skillet. So you're going to first saute the chicken and get it nice and brown. And then after that, the chicken just goes separately on a plate or in a bowl that just goes off to the side. And then you start sauteing the onions in the fat that's left from the chicken plus the oil, and it gets them really nice and flavorful. And then after that, you're going to mix your chicken stock with all of those spices, the ginger and the cinnamon and the lemon juice, and it gets really flavorful. And then all of that gets simmered together with the chicken. And then you add the prunes and the lemon peel, and you simmer some more, and the chicken gets nice and tender, and it's delicious. After it's all done, the chicken just goes on a platter, and you put that mixture over the top of the chicken, sprinkle some more of the almonds on, and then voila, your meal is done. It's delicious. More servings, and definitely for 2 or 3 people. I think we typically get about 8 servings out of this. So hope you enjoy. Great. Okay. Thank you everyone for watching that. I do have a picture of the finished product, but I can't seem to get that. It's just a PowerPoint, but anyway, maybe you've already seen it, Joyce. I don't know if you already.
Yeah, I showed it earlier.
Oh, great. Okay, so we're just going backwards here, and I'm going to say the quantity that's with the ingredients we just went over. There's like 8 or 10 pieces, sizable pieces. So anyway, here we are, and we could take questions on any of those 3 recipes. We have
Holly, can you stop sharing, please?
Oh, let's see. How do I? Oh, stop share.
There we go. Good. So looking in the chat, does anybody have any other questions? Okay. Well, sorry for the little bit of technical difficult.
A lot. My
Out of our-
apologies.
out
Thank
of
you
our
everyone for your patience.
But, you know.
Fantastic that you were able to overcome.
Well, thank you to my neighbor, almost neighbor and friend Sherry, who lives less than 10 minutes away. I hopped in my car and got here as quickly as possible. Thank you.
Yeah, somebody asked, they missed the first video, can they find it? So for everybody that participated today, we'll send the link, the YouTube link, so you can watch the whole thing or parts of it.
Plus ingredients and the recipes. We sent before as a preview, but we'll send that again with the recap.
So Holly, I just have a quick question. What's the name of the Passover table book that you like? The recipe book? Who wrote that?
Called The Passover Table by Susan Friedland.
Susan Friedland.
Yes,
Okay.
Susan Friedland. And my tweak of her recipes, I like a lot of flavor. So if someone calls for a tablespoon of cinnamon, I make it 2. Whatever.
Okay.
Same thing with most, a lot of the spices and flavors.
Okay.
But there's
Thank
a
you.
lot of good recipes in there, actually.
And does it make a big difference to have your tangine pot?
Short answer is no. The cone shaping helps the steaming and the mixing of flavors inside. But because mine isn't big enough to accommodate the whole quantity, I'm doing 2 side by side. Honestly, in a blind taste test, you probably wouldn't know. But it's fun to have. So if anyone wants to get it, I think mine was about $40 on Amazon.
Thank you.
I learned something new about that. So I also wanted to say I so enjoyed working with Holly and Adrian in this project. We spent a fair amount of time getting all the background, and we all tasted each other's end result, and it was a lot of fun.
It was great fun.
The pleasure was mine. I enjoyed every bit, and thank you, Joyce and Adria, for all that you did, and to everyone for your patience.
Good. Well, if there are no other questions, Adria and Holly, do you mind staying on for just a moment?
Sure. Thank you, everybody. That was
okay. Enjoy the rest of your
Yeah,
day.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. It was a nice, enjoyable function.
Good. Thank you for watching.
My pleasure. Bye now.
Joyce, you can turn off the YouTube. I don't know if I can do it.
Let's see. I don't know if I just end it or.
I think you can. I don't know. I don't think I can do that. I'm clicking on it and it just doesn't have an
Stop.
end.
Yeah, I can't.